let's not dance around. It's a direct question. Do you think President Tinubu will sign in an electoral law before the 2027 election? Yes or no?
I doubt. I very much doubt. But that's why I went to the answer and to be telling you that, look, irrespective of what he does and what he doesn't do, the provisions of the independence and impartiality and the powers of INEC, whoever is appointed to that position, if he's indeed working in the national interest, it doesn't matter what President Tinubu does or he does not do. We may have, a free and fair election.
I want to ask you a quick question. The only president that signed an electoral reform before an election was Goodluck Jonathan, and he lost the election. That was when we had card readers. Most presidents don't sign electoral reform. President Buhari in 2019 kicked the count down the road many times and didn't sign it because he was to participate in the election. Do you think President Tinubu will sign an electoral reform leading up to the 2027 elections? Briefly.
Well, you see, if you look at the provisions of Section 148 of the Electoral Act, which I believe that does empower the INEC chairman, the Independent National Electoral Commission as a commission in general, to make certain rules, regulations, and guidelines for the conduct of election and to give effect to the provisions of the Electoral Act. One would have expected that the INEC should have been more innovative in bringing out such guidelines that will improve the credibility of the elections. Once appointed, whoever that person is must assume that sum of independence and impartiality, and to be immune and from the influence of the president and the government. So in that case, we deal with the personality and consider whether this kind of person will always want to be politically correct, kowtowing to a president, being forever grateful that he was appointed, whereas he owes himself a legacy. The point is this: I answer your question, and your question is whether President Tinubu would carry out certain forms of electoral reforms that will undo him. I do not want to even think about that. If we have a truly independent and impartial INEC that will make rules and regulations and follow them, not in the manner that Professor Mahmoud deceived Nigerians, I believe that irrespective of whatever President Tinubu does with those regulations and that are upheld, I believe that we have a free and fair election, irrespective of the personality that is appointed.
Just my people, as it hot, you don't happen. No. In life, whenever you are given the opportunity to serve, please do it diligently and do it as if your life depends on it, so that when you are gone, people will know that this person, when he was at this position or when you hold this position, see what he do and see what he not do. But this our INEC chairman now, the power when they give us, Shebi don't finish now. Shebi they don't give another person when they act now, acting INEC chairman. Now he now not be our INEC chairman again. Now the same question when people ask the late President General Buhari, they don't begin to ask INEC chairman now, what is your legacy? What you leave behind when the people of Nigeria go to remember you? See, when you were the INEC chairman, see what you do and see what you do to take fight for the Nigerians and the people we want a betterment or the betterment of this country. Now nothing to show for. Now you're no longer our INEC chairman. Just watch as TTT drop more analysis concerning this our INEC chairman and the new acting INEC chairman. Please make sure you are sharing and tag INEC chairman. May you know, see, yes, the people of Nigeria, you know, get what you do for them with the position which they give you.
Thank you. I think we must first congratulate Mahmoud Yakubu for staying as INEC chairman for a whole 10 years. But the general perception of his tenure was was disastrous by many Nigerians who expected so much because he promised so much and delivered so little. He had held sway. He has been more or less politically correct. He has been taciturn. He has been lethargic in the exercise of the immense powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission, which he held on to, and Nigerians needed to see that kind of gusto in punishing those who perpetrated electoral violence, electoral malpractices, even in his twilight in office, where there was blatant violation of campaign regulations. He just didn't say anything and didn't do it. do anything. That scenario of the so much promise with regards to the electronic transmission of results that failed in the 2020 elections was more or less an unforgivable offense to Nigerians, and the man seems to care less. And despite all this, the fact that he got all the monies he needed, as you know, INEC enjoys a constitutional provision that says that all the monies he needed must be paid to it, you know, directly from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. And then he exercised so much independence that nobody, no authority or person, not the president, could be expected to influence it. But Professor Mahmood actually did not do well in the eyes of Nigerians. Well, Nigerians bid him well, but unfortunately the legacy he lives with is that of huge disappointment, and in this expectation that whoever will take over from him must have a lot to cure in the eyes of Nigerians as we speak. And that's unfortunate, because when you now look at the landscape of those who can possibly replace him, you go into history. We have a long line of restricted personalities, either justices, retired justices, or academics that have been appointed as chairmen of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Some of them who have been appointed outside this category have also not done so well. Reminiscent of the days of Professor Iwu, which thrown INEC as a very controversial body. Many Nigerians are very dissatisfied with the elections. However, I think as we move on to having a new chairman, we cannot expect anything less than the standard that has been set by former President Goodluck Jonathan, when he declared that I didn't even know the person that was recommended, probably from his consultations with the National Council of States, and the man, when he was appointed, I'm talking about Professor Tahiri Juga, did not disappoint, and in the 2 elections that he conducted. So that's the kind of high standard that is required. But mind you, Professor Juga cannot be wholesomely regarded as an academic. He was a civil society personality. So when we are these academics, these non-institutional persons, when they come as INEC chairman, may not do very well. I still recall, I don't want to say that, but if you look at the history, whether it's of Whiskey or Justice Akpata, that semblance of that impartiality and independence that comes with their pedigree as justices, who has a way of igniting a perception of confidence in the process. So I think we should move on to a point where we think the institutional personalities should be appointed, persons who've been there, who have some kind of experience, who know the problems, not appointing outsiders who may be tainted.
Okay.
I hear you.
Okay, Frank Tete, I was arguing previously that perhaps somebody from within the system who knows the terrain, who has the experience, should be the next appointee to prevent a situation where people learn on the job and they create problems for Nigeria. But I wanted you to comment very quickly on Geoffrey Naji, the innovator of certificates, as alleged by those he calls his political opponents, and then his resignation. And some people are now saying he should be prosecuted for perjury and forgery. What's your advice?
I think it should go beyond. It should go beyond persecution. The integrity of the Nigerian educational system was on trial in the last few days. It was on international. It was on a universal trial. The alumni of the University of Nigeria Association must have been so embarrassed that it could be so, that its certificates could be so procured that people who didn't graduate can now claim graduation. In fact, it throws a lot of systemic failures on the part of those who do verifications. Uche Naji has actually committed grievous offenses against not only the Nigerian educational system, not only against the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not only against the criminal laws of this country, but in his brazenness to also abuse the court process, he's gone beyond the famous Toronto scandal that involved Salisu Buhari. In fact, Salisu Buhari was not only prosecuted, he was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment with an option of fine. And it was so painful that that same Salisu Buhari was appointed as a member of the governing council of University of Nigeria. Just imagine that fantastic brand, University of Nigeria. And the Minister of Innovation, transformed his ministry to the innovation of fake certificates, and then he goes to defend it. He goes to, so look, there is something important here. The Supreme